Hey, it's Scott from San Marcos Makes. Today we are going to be traveling around the world, stopping in China, having a dish that gives more than it takes. Super easy meatball recipe called lion head meatballs. Of course, there is no lion in this meatball, but it's going to look like a lion's head. Let's see what it takes to make it. Super easy, but it is gonna make your house smell so good. This is good for the soul. In a mixing bowl, I'm gonna choose to use a blender for this. If you don't have a blender, you could definitely do it by hand, but this is gonna work so much better with a blender. Now I am gonna add 3/4 of a tablespoon of baking soda. If I miss a measurement, all of the measurements will be down in the description. I'm also gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of water. Now I'm gonna mix this in real quickly with a whisk. And I'm gonna add my minced or ground pork. So fattier the better here, but you definitely want the ground pork. So this does not need to marinate, but I do want to make sure as much of that solution we just made, which will help retain moisture, kind of gets evenly throughout this meat. So I have all my ingredients ready to go. I have 1 egg lightly beaten. Then we're gonna add just the white parts of a green onion. This is probably somewhere around 2 to 3 green onions, maybe right just over a good sized tablespoon. We're also gonna add about that same amount of freshly grated ginger, 4 tablespoons of sugar. I know that sounds like it's gonna be sweet, but it will help really balance with with the soy sauce. We're gonna add the soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Shoshin wine. If you cannot find that, easy substitute is sherry, but good grief, get some Shoshin wine. Very cheap. We're talking like $4 at any Asian store, and a lot of supermarkets even carry it. But it's that taste that you taste in almost every Asian food. You let me forget about one ingredient. We need white pepper, of course. I'm just gonna first use a wooden spoon and just to start getting some of these ingredients incorporated. If you do not have a mixer, hand mixer, this is where you're gonna have to get in there and get really dirty with your hands and mix this for a good amount of time, and taking that meat and slamming it against the side. You're really wanting it to break down. If you got a mixer, KitchenAid mixer, stand mixer, whatever you got, it's gonna make it much, much easier, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I have this in the mixer. I'm gonna put this on medium speed, and it's gonna take about 60 seconds. You want that meat to really push on the sides. You want it to be super sticky, super, super sticky. All right, so that's been about a minute. Everything was pushing to the side, getting nice and sticky. You can even see, hopefully on camera, it has become lighter. That's what we're looking for. It is meatball time. What I'm gonna use to make the meatballs, these are pretty good sized meatballs. I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup scoop or measuring cup. Now this is gonna be pretty sticky, so when I'm using my hands, a little water bowl will work wonders. It'll help not stick in the hand. So I'm gonna make the meatballs, set them aside in this dish. So just take one and a good little round spoonful, kind of pack it in there, put it in the hands. This is gonna be a pretty thick meatball. I wanna kind of just round it, but it's gonna do, and I didn't preach my own word here, but round it off, set it in the dish, and keep doing this until you do. This should give you about anywhere from 6 to 8 meatballs. So we will be braising these slow. So we need to preheat the oven 375. So I'll do that now. My oven heats up pretty quickly. If yours doesn't, you probably want to get it going about the time you'd make the meatballs, right before. Want to get a good heavy bottom Dutch oven. Now I have already added, but you want to add 4 cups of chicken stock. Obviously, if you have homemade, it's gonna taste better. I didn't, I won't lie. It's a store-bought chicken stock. We will next be taking our meatballs. Now, if they've been a little bit, they may have flattened, so you could roll them back, but not gonna be a big deal. And we are going to put them immediately in our liquid. All of them should fit. They should not be touching, just right all the way around the edge. Just take them, put them in. Should get you all the way around. And even one for right in the middle. So you want them to be poking up just a little bit from the top. It's an easy way for them to start browning. Once our oven is up to temperature, we will immediately put the lid on, put it in the oven. We're gonna cook this for 1 hour. So we've been this whole time working on the lion's head or the lion's face. Now we need to work on the main, which is gonna be Napa cabbage. All I'm gonna do is kind of cut the end off so I have a nice base. Gonna set that down, or we'll set it here, and we are gonna cut this right down the middle. Open it up. And we're gonna do that one more time. And then take the ends and just kind of cut off the hard piece. Same thing on all 4 of these. And then we want to make about 4-inch pieces, or 2-inch pieces, sorry. So, about like that. So good size cabbage. Open. Look at the meatballs. You'll see they swell up, but this is what we're after. Big old lion head. So we need to get them out of the pot because we want to get that cabbage down in this braising liquid. So I use a slotted spoon and grab these big old meatballs and just set them in a bowl. So we're gonna get all of these meatballs out. You'll notice the tops are slightly browned. The smells are so amazing right now. So we're gonna put this down in the liquid. We're gonna braise. It's gonna seem like there's way too much cabbage. But if you've ever cooked cabbage or any other kind of leafy green, you know it's gonna cook down. Now if you got any really hard, like the white pieces, feel free to take them out. I've already took most of them out, or if you got a kind of a hard knot, like that one, I'm gonna just pull that out. The rest of it, we're just gonna put this right in. So we get all of that Napa cabbage in there. Last step is we're gonna build this back up, put our meatballs back in. Meatballs have to be on the bottom. So we're gonna try to put the meatball back in and just lay them all in there. So just take the meatball, put it right on top. One right in the middle. We're gonna cover this back up and we're gonna put it back in the oven for 30 minutes. So we have finished cooking. All right, let's see how this looks. And I'll be honest, my wife's even already said, oh, gross, when I opened it, because it's not the most pleasing to the eyes, but the taste is what we're after on this one. And trust me, I'll make it look better. So right out, these are huge meatballs. We are gonna take a meatball. Now, I'm gonna take this middle one, and for presentation, I'm just gonna put it on the side. And what I'm after first is I wanna get some of this cabbage right here. Just kind of spread that out. A little more cabbage. All right. Now we're gonna take that meatball, put it right in the middle. Now, lion's head, the mane and the head. Now, for sure, one of the most important things is this liquid gold right here. This is where all that flavor is. We're gonna pour that directly on top of that meatball. Whew. Let's eat it. To finish this off, all we're gonna do is take just a little bit of green onions, sprinkle that right on top. So to me, this is almost 2 taste tests, and really 3 if you're counting the cabbage. But what I'm really after is this broth. Oh, man. There will not be enough broth, I can already tell you, because I could just put that in a glass and eat that up. All right, let's try the meatball. Should come easily, just kind of break off a piece, grab a little bit of the cabbage, make sure it soaks up in that broth. Oh, it's so good. You know what it reminds me of is the eating a wonton soup, but the inside of the wonton, that's what that reminds me of. Very, very closely. But that broth is so good. Now, can we add a couple things to it? Absolutely. Want to put a little more soy sauce? Of course, you could always add some chili crunch, whatever you want to do. Very basic recipe. Man, this will warm your soul. So good. That cabbage. Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about. We need more recipes like that. This probably would not work real good in Texas in August, but it works really good right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please do me a favor. Do the whole like, comment, subscribe, all of that things. All that's going to do is help me build this channel. Please always remember my rules. Beans do not go in chili. Okra does not go in gumbo, but it is perfectly fine to put pineapple on pizza. Hope you enjoyed this dish. If you made it, please let me know that you made it. And just go enjoy it. It's so good.